So this is Am I Good Enough? Part 2. How did some of us get into this situation where we feel like we're not good enough? And what can we do about it? Many people have grown up in an environment where their parents, their siblings, family members, teachers, peers, and other important persons told them that they were not good enough. Some of these messages were very explicit, while others were more covert and subtle, sometimes to the degree where the child doesn't even know that something wrong is happening. So here are some common childhood reasons why a person grows up as an adult who feels or believes that they're just not good enough. Number 1, you were treated like you're worthless or subhuman. Sadly, many parents and other authority figures see a child as subordinate or a piece of property. As a result, they treat their child harshly and damage them, sometimes permanently. They are abused physically, sexually, verbally, and in many other ways. Many children are raised in a way that their main purpose is seen to be to meet their parents' needs, and not vice versa, as it's actually supposed to be. And if they fail, they are punished, manipulated, shamed. Unsurprisingly, such children grow up with a skewed sense of self and a broken self-esteem, all of which manifests itself in all sorts of psychological, emotional, and behavioral problems. 2, you are held to unrealistic standards and falsely blamed. Adults often hold children to highly unrealistic standards that they would never be able to meet themselves. One example of this is school. The child is supposed to be perfect in every subject, otherwise they are labeled as problematic or sick or consequently traumatized further by punishment or rejection or medication. One can find similar examples in the way a child's family might expect the child to behave in a certain way that they consciously or unconsciously assign to them. An example of this would be a situation for LGBT youth who are faced with the kind of pressure from their families and their friends and their faith communities and broader society that says that the only right way is heterosexuality. Number 3, you are compared to others. Parents and other authority figures often compared their children to others in order to make them feel bad about themselves and to change their behavior. Why can't you be more like your brother or sister? Timmy is such a good boy. I wish I had a son like that. Susie is such a nice girl and you're such a brat. When caregivers negatively compare their children to others and place them in unnecessary competitive environments, this adds to the child's feeling of insecurity, cautious, flawed, distrustful, and not good enough. Such a person grows up with a compulsion to constantly compare themselves to others and either feels inferior or superior to others. Some things to remember when you think you're not good enough. The people you compare yourself to, they're comparing themselves to others as well. Your mind can be a very convincing liar. I once saw a quote that read, "Don't believe everything you think." That quote completely altered the way I react when a cruel or discouraging thought comes through my mind. Thoughts are just thoughts, and it's unhealthy and exhausting to give them so much power to the negative ones. There's more right with you than wrong with you. You have to fully accept and make peace with the now before you can reach and feel satisfied with the later. Embrace and make peace with where you are, and your journey towards something new will feel much more peaceful, rewarding, and satisfying. Focus on progress rather than perfection, and how far you've come rather than how far you have to go to. Instead of berating yourself for messing up and stumbling backward, give yourself a pat on the back for trying, for making progress, and for coming as far as you have. You can't hate your way into loving yourself. Telling yourself what a failure you are won't make you any more successful. You are enough just the way you are. And self-love will be a little bit easier every time you remind yourself of that. If you found this video, this series of the 2 videos helpful, please share it with friends and others. And we hope that you'll subscribe and click the little bell button beside the subscribe button so you'll get a notice whenever we post a new video. Thank you.